Hey guys, Dr. Charlie Ware. I'm coming to you again to discuss dietary things that I feel is going to be very, very important for you long-term and also short-term as well. Before we get started, hey guys, turn on your notifications to make sure that every time I actually do a live video, you're able to join immediately. That way you'll be able to get all the information that I give anytime I'm actually doing a Facebook Live. It's kind of an awesome feature that Facebook has actually started on right now, so it's awesome. But again, the reason why I do all of these Facebook Lives and try to educate you guys over and over again is I know it's a huge deficit in what allopathic doctors teach as far as for nutrition and how you should eat for yourself. A lot of us shy away from these conversations because we have this idea that most individuals don't care about their diet. They don't care about what they're putting inside of their body. But I know for firsthand that most individuals just don't know what to do. So it's like yesterday I was speaking about trans fats, or I was speaking about the proper oils to use to cook in. Something to touch on that just a little bit further because of the fact that I feel like I left a hole or a gap there as well. So the reason why I say it's important for you to get away from the trans fats or the hydrated oils is because of the fact that those things have no nutritional content. When I say nutritional content is a lot of the oils, like coconut oil, the avocado oil, the safflower oils, and the olive oils I say that we should be eating with, have a lot of omegas in there, omega-3, 6, and 9s. It's been shown that actually once you start ingesting those things, it's getting a lot of inflammation out of your arterial system, meaning your veins, your heart, and also your arteries as well. That means your capillaries, your venules, every part of your cardiac system will start to get healthier. But by adding those trans fats or those hydrated oils to your systems, it's showing that you have anywhere from a 53 up to a 75% chance of actually acquiring some sort of cardiac issue or creating inflammation inside your cardiac system. Now, as a sickle cell patient, why is it important for your cardiac system to be functioning at its highest level? Because you know that if you're having any sort of inflammation inside your cardiac system, you already are having occlusions where inside of your veins and also arteries. That's where you have these pain crises are in your veins and your arteries. They start to collapse down, creating pain in all other areas. So by having a healthy cardiac system, you're going to have a better chance of actually being able to avoid having any sort of sickle cell crisis, as well as the AVN, the actual necrosis of the actual joints themselves. Because again, if you're having these occlusions and you also are having more inflammation inside of your veins and your venules and your arteries, things of that sort, you're actually aren't allowing the blood and the nutrients to get to your bones. So that's why you have the shoulder issues, the hip issues, and also the spine issues as well. So that's, for me, that's why I say the trans fat idea, and I sort of felt as if I left a deficit there. But again, it's part of the reason why I say it's very important for you to eat the proper oils, or cooking the proper oils and things of that sort, because you want things that's going to add to your body, not take away from it. So again, these trans fats do what? It's been shown to increase cholesterol, the bad cholesterols, the HDLs, the one that actually clogs the arteries up over and over and over again. So the LDLs, not the HDLs. HDLs are the one that actually reduce the inflammation inside the body. So you have the good cholesterol, you have the bad cholesterol. We want to increase the HDLs, and those are the ones you'll find in the coconut oils and things of that sort. I mean, these things like margarine, I can't believe it's not butter, all these things like that, they are hydrogenated oils, posing as a healthier choice because of the fact that now we're making it all plant-based. It's still a hydrogenated oil that's actually going to clog up your arteries and things of that sort. So long story short, it's also shown to actually increase the risk of diabetes by having these inefficient oils or oils with no nutritional content inside your system as well. Diabetic neuropathy also comes from a lack of nutrients in the lower part of your body, and mostly in their feet and also their fingers as well. But the other thing that these fats and all these other sugars do to the body, they actually start to slowly cut or start to erode away at a lot of the nerves inside the body too. Because we do have some sickle cell patients that have some neuropathy as well, and this also leads to with a diabetic person, like I said, they also do have the necrosis too. They have the toes cut off, the foot cut off, and also all the way up to the knee to be amputated as well. So this is just part of the whole line of things that I keep telling individuals that you got to make sure that Because I'm jumping into packaged goods right now. And the reason why a lot of packaged goods aren't doing well, because if you have packaged food, I did a Facebook Live. I was inside Whole Foods, and I'm not downing Whole Foods, but what I'm saying is most individuals, if you look at the way a grocery store is set up, most of the non-packaged stuff is on the peripheral of the stores, like the meats or the veggies and fruits and things of that sort. And you have a slew of packaged goods up and down different aisles. And if you go and actually start to read some of these packaged goods, most of the times you can't even read these ingredients. You don't even understand what these ingredients are. You just know that it's salty and it tastes good, or it's sweet and it tastes good. We failed to realize that the reason why they have these trans fats inside there is because trans fat is going to extend the shelf life of these things by years and years and years, because the trans fat tends to not go bad. I gave the example yesterday. Remember, years ago, Crisco was a thing to have, so everyone cooked with Crisco. You would have a can of Crisco in there, and you would never see one fly land on that Crisco and die. Or one fly land on that Crisco, or if you in a bad area, no type of bugs would ever crawl on your Crisco, because it's not real food. It's not a real oil. It's a trans oil. It wasn't even canola oil. It was just different oils mixed together and hydrated to actually be able to sit out on a shelf for as long as it can possibly sit. So things like that, you gotta educate yourself on as well. So by you having these trans fats in your system inside your diet, that's heavily latent in most packaged goods. Like I said, 90% of packaged goods on the shelf, even if they're organic, you gotta understand, even if they're organic, they have a form of hydrogenated or trans fat inside there. I give you the percentage. About 10% of even organic things or organic packaged things can possibly have a trans fat in there. And the language that they use these days to sort of say, oh, it has no trans fat. Again, that 0% trans fat is not really 0%, is a percent of the main ingredient. It's a long, hard conversation, but just understand that when something says it has no trans fat, more than likely it has a form of a trans fat inside there as well. So you're still not escaping it as well. The other danger is the refined grains. A refined grain is a grain that, because if you pick wheat, wheat is normally brown or a yellowish color or a beige color. A refinement of that means that it's turning completely white, which means they either use a bleaching agent to turn it white, or they strip everything off of it and just use one part of that grain now, which is the most sugary part of it. That's why when you have these, like, I'm going to use a company called Wonder Bread. You know how soft and mushy Wonder Bread is. You can almost take one slice and boil up into your hand and make it like a pea size. That's how little mass it actually has, because it's only made from sugar. Is it just made from yeast and sugar? Because again, every plant has a sugary substance, and the germ part of that is the sugary substance that they actually use to refine these grains as well. And again, these white flours have been just bleached and bleached and bleached to the point where it has no nutrition content inside of it as well. So then this whole big gluten issue started to come about. That starts to have more issues in goat motility, as well as adding more inflammation to the gut as well. By adding inflammation to the gut, and I say this over and over again, you're not allowing your body to absorb the nutrients from a good piece of food. So if you say that you had, I just had a sandwich for lunch with lettuce, tomato, some avocado on there, and I had a slice of turkey, but I had it on Wonder Bread. That Wonder Bread is now taken away from your ability to absorb any of that nutrition content that was in any of that stuff as well. So that's the main thing that you have to realize, is that these refined grains are not designed, because again, they're processed. They're overly processed. I tell people that, the way we used to process things back in the day, I'm not that old, I don't think, was by canning. Canning is still, was one of the first ways to actually preserve things for a long time, meaning as far as put it in a container. Because of course, we had dry things, and we have different ways of salting fish and things of that sort as well. But the important part of this, how you doing, Kevin? The most important part of this is understanding that the more you refine something, the more you add more steps to actually be able to extract something from it, the worse it is for your body. You want to eat something that's as close to nature as possible. If I want a cucumber or even a pickle, I know the pickling process is no more than 5 or 6 ingredients to actually make a pickle. So if I pick up a pickle box or whatever, or jar, and I see more than 5 ingredients inside there, I know that it's not a true pickling process. It's something that's been rapidly done to make sure that it has a certain flavor or whatever to it, and people are just being duped left and right. You gotta understand that they're here to make profits and not make you healthy. At the end of the day, I don't care what it is. They're here to make sure that you are, fed, or you come back and actually eating their food, but they don't care about nutritional content. I'm not saying a lot of them do. And again, you gotta be really careful with a lot of these breads that say that they're whole wheat or whatever, or that they actually use a ton of molasses inside there. So the actual molasses will turn the bread brown, and you're thinking, oh, it's whole wheat because it's brown. No, there's just a ton of molasses inside there. So it's a sugar base, a yeast base, and another sugar base as well. So you have all this sugar, inside this bread, thinking that you're eating a healthy bread. So be very, very careful. Use more so artisan breads, or if you have a local bakery, please go to a local bakery that you can trust, and you know that they've been around for years and years, and they have like maybe 3 ingredients inside their bread. Bread's no more than 3, maybe 4 ingredients at the very most anyway. Okay, but again, guys, make sure that you hit your notification button, so anytime I'm doing these talks, you'll be able to join as soon as I come on here. You guys will be notified, and you can join, and you can be part of these talks as well. And I only go off the things that you guys ask. I get a lot of dietary questions, either in my office or online as well. I've had individuals ask me if I would give nutritional conferences, and these are things that we're slowly working towards, putting the material together so we can actually make sure that you guys are getting the proper nutritional content as well. Thank you so much, Ms. Williams. I love being able to give this content to you guys. The next big one for packaged food is hidden salts. Salt is something that, I'll give you guys a quick little story, and it's going back to slavery and things of that sort. The way the slave traders used to do to see if an African was able to even be able to cross the ocean was they would actually lick their cheek. Why do they lick their cheek? Which is kind of disgusting, but why do they lick their cheek? If the salt of the cheek of the person was really salty, they knew that person sweat out too much salt, and they couldn't make that trip across. So they would either die of vomiting too much or dehydration. So the person who didn't taste salty, they would actually make them for the journey. The person who tastes too salty, they would actually leave them there in Africa. So by default, your ancestors unfortunately didn't taste salty, so they're able to make the trip. Things of that sort. This is the story that, I'm doing a genetics class, and these are the stories that we find as a reason why most African Americans here in America, are over salting themselves, because naturally we don't have to have a lot of salt in our bodies. I want to repeat that we don't have to have a lot of salt in our bodies, because genetically we are already predisposed to be able to transform all the things that we need and get out of things of salt and function on a higher level. The reason why we have a high risk or high levels of hypertension and other cardiac issues because of the fact that we're over salting ourselves. Okay, I understand that in order for us to preserve ourselves, preserve foods years ago, we had the salt fat and the salted and the smoked this and things of that sort. We can still eat some of that stuff. We don't have to eat it every day. And I'll say this again. The best flavors, the most common flavors here in America is salt and sweet. No one knows about rosemary. No one knows about sage. No one knows about using these different spices to make sure your food tastes better, versus just putting as much salt, pepper, and sugar on your food as possible. I mean, I find it surprising that how many pasta sauces have so much sugar inside of it. How much even potato chips. I saw a bag of potato chips once that actually had had sugar inside of potato chips. It wasn't even like the flavored one. It was a plain bag of salt and salt potato chips that had sugar inside of it. I was blown away. Miss Williams, you're doing what? You're some child before and after care, because yes, exactly. Actually, I have a lot of parents, and include my kids as well. The thing that I do is, and I'm the parent who goes to a birthday party and take my kids, little cupcakes and say, hey, look, I want you guys to still participate, but I know, mom and dad cook these cupcakes at home, or we got it from a place that we know is, has all the good nutritional things inside there, and even the sugar base is a good sugar base. I want to make sure my kids have the best ability to function And I'll even get to the high fructose corn syrup in a little bit, but I'll jump into that right now while I'm mentioning it. High fructose corn syrup, and this is something that was actually, it came out in Medscape, it came out in the New England Journal of Medicine, it came out in many different journals, and it's been out for years and years and years. High fructose corn syrup is in virtually every packaged good, correct? If you go read it, some sort of corn syrup, solid or high fructose corn syrup is going to be inside of that package. Now listen to this. It's been shown that individuals who consume high fructose corn syrup, their brain function, which means the synaptic clefts and everything that makes your brain function, is diminished by 30 to 50% for about 3 hours. So if you're giving your child a Pop-Tart or some of this packaged food on a daily basis, and then you say, hey little Jimmy, go to school and learn as much as you can, and they're like, I don't understand why, you're not doing it as well as you actually could be. It's because of this packaged food and the fact that this research has shown that, across the board, it reduces your brain function, not including the fact that it increases your rate of diabetes. And I mean, I have a 8-year-old patient that his triglycerides are of that of a 45-year-old male. He's 8 years old. And I see this over and over again, that juvenile diabetes, juvenile hypercalorimia, which means high cholesterol. All these things are on the rise. The reason why is because of the fact that we have this fast-paced life where we think that it's packaged, it's easy, get it over and done with. But long story short, what we're doing is we're not having enough nutrients in our system. And the whole point of all of this, me telling you all these things, is showing you that these packaged goods are no good for you. If there's rice in a package, that's not a packaged good. That's just rice, or it's quinoa, or some sort of bean or something like that. That's not a packaged good. That's just is a way for you to carry from A to B. But these cookies, these cakes, this macaroni and cheese, this hamburger helper, this pasta sauce, all these things that we have on a package, on a daily basis, that, even different cheeses, all these things that we have on a daily basis that we're thinking that we're feeding our family food, but we're actually feeding our family inflammation and disease. I'll be completely blunt and completely frank about it. You're feeding your family disease and also inflammation. And if you're a sickle cell patient, honestly, do everything that you can to get off of these packaged goods and learn how to get healthy snacks. Learn how to actually, versus getting yourself a package whatever, it may be like the whole little rice mix or whatever that's easy, it tastes so good, but again, all that stuff has nothing more than a bunch of chemicals inside of that's actually leading to more sickle cell crisis, is leading to more AVNs, is leading to more hospital stays. I've seen it over and over again. I've proven it over and over again with my patients that come to see me. And again, I'm not trying to make you a patient of mine, I'm just giving you the facts, what I've seen over the last 12 years of me being in practice. I'm one of the few individuals, and especially as a natural medical doctor, I see sickle cell patients, unfortunately, every day, or I talk to them every day. Most doctors, even PCPs, would not see a sickle cell patient, every day, but I do. So that's why I have the experience in this realm, and I tell everyone, if you're not going to change your diet, there's no reason for you to have a conversation with me, because first and foremost, if you're eating inflammation, you're eating pain, you're eating these things that have no nutrition content, you're doing yourself not a bit of good. Okay, so yes, I'm very hard on my patients because I see the other side. I see the ones who do phenomenal. I have individuals who graduated, high school or in college. I've had individuals that, one's a ballerina, one is in marching band. I have another one, he's doing a research project with sickle cell. He plays soccer, he plays lacrosse. I have tons of them playing different sports. These are all sickle cell patients with SS. I'm not saying SC, but these are sickle cell patients. And it all starts with your diet. It all starts with the diet. I don't care what you say, what sort of medication you think you can take that's going to make yourself better. You got to start with your diet over and over again. I wish I took your insurance. That's what we talk offline, Ms. Wilson. we'll have a conversation later on, but it's different ways that you can still work with me, and it's definitely economical as well. But again, just listen to what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get patients here. I'm trying to give you information. And again, like I said, it's 7:30 at night. I haven't eaten since 12 o'clock, and I know my family's waiting at home for me, but I'm going to give you this information because I know it's important for you. It's important for yourself, your kids, as well as your entire family. Okay, so again, I'm sorry to go off on a rant. I truly apologize about that, but it's very, very important information. Like I said, I was talking about salt, and the reason why, as an African Americans, it's very important for us to not eat as much salt, or it has to be a good quality salt. So table salt is not any good for you. It's going to either be the Celtic sea salt, CELTIC, the Celtic sea salt, or the Himalayan sea salt. And make sure it's actual true Himalayan sea salt. The reason why I'm not even saying sea salt only has about 6 to 8 different trace minerals inside of there. Because again, sea salt has been stripped down because again, it has to be clean, it has to look nice and white, things of that sort. Celtic sea salt is a more gray, sometimes it looks like black or brownish, things of that sort. And the Himalayan sea salt is that pink salt. Now, why is it that color? Because they have different trace nutrients inside of there. It has so many different trace minerals and trace nutrients inside there that Celtic sea salt has about 128 different, trace minerals inside there. 128 compared to 6 to 8. Which one would you actually want to put in your food? And you don't even have to use as much. You have to use only a pinch of it because of the fact that the nutritional content will actually curb your actual appetite a lot faster as well. My kids are doing awesome, and yes, I have changed. I love you for doing that, Miss Brown. Love it, love it, love it. Definitely change the diet. So the whole thing with it is the fact that everything you put in your body, even the salt, has to have a high nutritional content. True Himalayan sea salt has about 96 different trace minerals inside of it. And the price difference, a bag of Celtic sea salt I'll get maybe $2 or $3 for a whole bag of it. And this cheap table salt, yes, it may be $1 or whatever, but at the end of the day, which one would you want to do? I prefer to have something that has nutritional content inside of it versus something that doesn't have any nutritional content inside of it. That's just me, So again, I'm trying to give you this information. You understand that the table salt, get away from it. And then even if you do use the Celtic sea salt or the Himalayan sea salt, please use very little and learn how to wean yourself off of having so much salt inside of your diet. Even if you eat out, I'm to the point where I really eat out. I haven't done that in years and years and years now. I do a little bit, but you also got to make sure that you tell individuals, about not over-salting your food when they're preparing your food too. Okay, Mr. Dunn, you said the pink sea salt and added to, yes, I told you guys that a long time ago. So the thing that I do, I've never had to drink Gatorade. Probably the last 25, 30 years, I haven't had Gatorade. Is another drink that I prefer. But if I don't have the drink around, I actually use my Celtic sea salt or my Himalayan sea salt. I have about 20 ounces of water and then a quarter of a teaspoon. Yes, it sounds like a lot, but a quarter of a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt or Himalayan sea salt inside of the actual water. I stir it up. I may add some lemon to it, may add some different fruity stuff, fruits to it or whatever. But that's an all-natural electrolyte replacement. Because like I said, these sea salts, these salts actually have 96 to 128 different electrolytes inside of there, or trace minerals, which are electrolytes. So if you're doing that, that means you're truly hydrating yourself on a daily basis. I tell my patients to do this all the time, and I get phenomenal results. I've had individuals that's had hypertension, for years and years and years because they were chronically dehydrated. I've had them do that in a month later. Their numbers are back in line because their body is fully hydrated as well. Diabetic patients, their numbers start to drop back in line a little bit more, meaning their blood sugar because of that. Pain levels, that cramping, that spasming, you feel constantly, you can actually reduce that by doing just as Mr. Dunn says. So thank you, Mr. Dunn, for actually doing that or saying that and reminding me to tell you guys that as well. So there's many different things that we can have a conversation with about that. So guys, I'm going to get out of here, but if you guys have any questions, I'll be online for about another half an hour, 20 minutes to half an hour. So I'll try to answer those things for you. But again, if you want to know this information, please hit your notifications. So every time I'll come online, you guys will be notified immediately, and you'll be able to get a lot of this information. I'll be back on again tomorrow to give more information about some other things I think you should either add or subtract from your diet. And I'm hoping by Friday I may try to do a video on doing a few different meals or dishes that you'll see is packed full of nutrients and very, very tasty as well. All right, guys, you take care. You have a great one. And bye for them, Mr. Dunn, too. God bless. Talk to you soon.